What's up, Observers? Welcome to the Observe Network. And today I'm going to be discussing with you the difference between entrepreneurship and an alternative, which is intrapreneurship, and explaining the difference between the two, and hopefully helping you discover which one works best for you. I'm your host, Javon Ingram, and welcome to Observe. Welcome, Observers, to the Observe Network. I'm your host, Javon Ingram, and today I will be talking to you about intrapreneurship. Most people have heard of entrepreneurship, but very few people have heard of intrapreneurship. And I want to present it as a viable option for people who are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs, but are not sure or are on the fence of how they should do it, if they should do it, or if it's the route they should take. So, what is an entrepreneur? We all know that's someone who starts a business. The French word for entrepreneurship is entreprendre, one who assumes risk. So as a business owner, an entrepreneur, a pioneer in a business service or entity, you assume risk. As an intrapreneur, you can mitigate that risk. What an intrapreneur is someone who is an entrepreneur within a large company or organization. So as an entrepreneur, you would have to assume risk, assume debt, acquire capital, take on investors, create teams, create networks to be able to achieve your business goal. As an intrapreneur in a large company, you work within this company and they already have these things established for you. Most large companies have a marketing department. They have a sales department. They have the capital and the name recognition to push your brand or business forward. So is that the best option? Is entrepreneurship the best option? And that's what we are here to discuss today, because both have their pluses and minuses. As an entrepreneur, everything resides on you. Everything is on your back, whether it succeeds or fails. And a lot of entrepreneurs don't have the necessary resources to push their brand, product, or service to the next level. It is a huge struggle, and a lot of entrepreneurs fail in this endeavor. As an intrapreneur, certain things are already handed to you to help you to be successful. It's more of a support system without the loss of income. The revenue that's lost won't be yours. You may get fired if you fail, but the loss is not yours and yours alone. It's a great way to mitigate risk. Now, you have to be in the right situation and with the right company to become an intrapreneur. If a company doesn't have a large R&D department or is not interested in expanding into new markets, that is not the place for an intrapreneur. An intrapreneur has to be someplace where they're looking for cutting edge things to take place, new entities, new businesses, new avenues, new lanes of revenue. They have to be looking to make changes or to grow and scale in other directions. And that's when an intrapreneur becomes an invaluable asset to a company. Now, as an entrepreneur, if it fails, it's on you. If it succeeds, the glory and a lot of the profit is yours. But as an entrepreneur, if it succeeds, you may not get as much credit, and you definitely won't see as much profit because the company is the one who receives the profit. But it depends on how you negotiate it, how you put together the terms of your intrapreneurship. And I'm going to give you some examples of people that have successfully pulled off being an intrapreneur and an entrepreneur. One of the most successful intrapreneurs there is, actually the most successful right now with a net worth of $40 billion, is Microsoft's Steve Ballmer. Now, Steve Ballmer left, I believe, Stanford University to start working at Microsoft with Bill Gates. They were already friends, and he decided to leave school, which his parents hated, and to go work for Microsoft. Now, before that, Bill Gates hated delegating responsibilities. He liked to put everything on his shoulders because he was the typical entrepreneur. If it needs to get done right, I'm gonna do it myself. But that doesn't always work, and it does not help you scale as an entrepreneur. When Steve Ballmer came on, he actually helped Bill Gates put together great teams and learn to delegate responsibility, and that helped Microsoft blossom. Now, Steve Ballmer didn't become CEO of Microsoft until Bill Gates stepped down in the 2000s, and he then retired in 2014. But he's one of the brains behind Xbox, the acquiring of Skype. He's behind a lot of the things that happen in Microsoft. Now, he didn't start this business, but he's worth $40 billion because he took stock options and he invested his mind, his thoughts, and his resources into the company and created more revenue streams for the business. Now, he owns the LA Clippers. He comes to the games, he screams, he enjoys, he relaxes, and he's worth $40 billion from this experience. So entrepreneurship is possible. It is a successful alternative to entrepreneurship. I can give you another example. Steve Jobs. Now, Steve Jobs was fired from Apple in 1985. He left, he started Pixar and a few other companies, but Pixar was the most successful one, being acquired by Disney for $7.5 billion. But after that, he came back to Apple, but he came in not as an entrepreneur, as an intrapreneur, taking 5 million shares of Apple to step into the company and to innovate and create new revenue streams for the company. And it was wildly successful. It was wildly successful for Steve Jobs and the Apple Corporation. That's why you have the iPhone, the iPad, and a bunch of other things, the App Store. But these are cases of entrepreneurship that can blossom into billions and billions and billions of dollars. So you, on the fence, thinking about whether you should be an entrepreneur or if you should stay at your company, there's a few things that you have to think about. Can you sustain yourself and your family by assuming the risk of entrepreneurship? Can you afford to fail? Are you too big to fail? Are your expenses too high to be able to start a new endeavor and fund that endeavor with your money and your energy and time? Can you? If you're an entrepreneur, are you at the right company? Do you have the air of the right people? Are you in a position where you can push yourself forward in this company? Because they're not going to push you. You're going to have to push yourself. They're not going to invite you to the table. You're going to have to make your way. People always say that it's who you know in business. No, it is who you get to want to know you that'll make the difference in situations like that. Who is this person? I hear this, they're doing that. I would love to meet them. You have to make people want to know you. So you have to weigh a lot of options when you're deciding what you want to do in the avenue in which you need to go. Both have a potential for success and both have potential for failure. So they're both assuming risk. It's just different levels and different rewards. An entrepreneur will make a lot of money if their venture is successful. The problem with entrepreneurship that a lot of people have is they fall at the capital stumbling block. If you have a great idea and you have a great business structure, but you do not have enough capital and enough networking resources to get it out to the masses, it will not be a success or not as successful as you would like. You won't be able to scale it. As an entrepreneur, you will automatically have those resources, but the fame, the glory, and all the profit will go to the larger company, the entity that put the risk and assumed the risk. But if you negotiate it properly, you can become very wealthy in that direction as well. So both have its pluses, both have its minuses, but it's worth a shot. So think about it. Which one would you rather be? An entrepreneur or an entrepreneur? This is Javon Ingram. Thank you for tuning in to Observe.